Shelbi, otherwise known as Shelbizleee, here on YouTube, and today I'm coming back at you guys with a video about the most amazing experience I've ever had in my life. A lot of you guys have been asking me to make videos that talk a little bit more about who I am and maybe my past and stuff like that, and specifically I asked on Snapchat if you guys would be interested in hearing about my Americorps experience, so I'm going to talk about that today, and if you're interested in that, stay tuned. Okay, so for those of you who don't know what Americorps is, it's basically a program where you can serve. So what that means is there are different organizations, there are nonprofits for national parks and cities and stuff like that. Basically, it's a program where you agree to give your time in exchange for a stipend and sometimes a place to live. But we'll talk a little bit more about that later. First, let me tell you guys why I decided to do Americorps instead of just jumping into the corporate job world. When I first came out of college, I was still definitely in this mindset of wanting to make a difference in the world, in my community, in someone's life. I wanted to have an impact on people and I wanted to do something good. I was not ready to just jump into let me compete with my neighbor at this job or let me work to get to the next step or to get that next bonus. Like, that just was not me. It still is not me. That's not who I am. And I definitely felt like it would be so much more fulfilling for myself if I gave back to something, if I could see the difference I was making in something or someone's life. So that's why I chose to do Americorps over just going straight into the job field. The only fear I have in life is looking back someday and regretting I didn't do something. So I knew that a job and a career could always be in my future. That opportunity will always be there. But once you are in your career and you start to build a career, you start to have a family, maybe you have a mortgage, you can't just give up everything and go take a stipend to do service. That's something that you can only really do when you're not tied down. And so I knew that I had to take this opportunity while I could, because someday it may not be possible for me. So not only was I not tied down in terms of being able to take a stipend and do the service, I also wasn't tied down geographically. So this allowed me to move from my small college town in Texas to San Jose, California to serve for Americorps. I mentioned earlier that the nonprofit I volunteered for did drought-tolerant lawn conversions, and I also mentioned that I moved to San Jose, California, which everyone knows has been having problems with their water and droughts and stuff like that recently. So I knew moving there that was already going to be such an impactful experience to be able to help these people not have to worry about having their lawn green because of their HOA, but at the same time helping conserve water because of the drought. It was just such a perfect situation for someone who had just graduated with an environmental science degree and wanted to make a difference. Every day, these homeowners were having to water their lawns so they could keep up with, the aesthetic of a nice lawn in their neighborhood, and we were able to cut off that water that they were using in 2 days. It was something that was so impactful to me to see that I could make a difference and I was a part of making the change. And I think the biggest takeaway that I had from my service term was that instead of competing with all of my coworkers, instead of always looking at everything I was doing as a competition to get somewhere else to have more disposable income, if you will, I was looking at all of my coworkers as my teammates, as a group of people who were going to work together to achieve something great, something different, something impactful, something that was going to make a difference. And I can speak from experience now, being in the real world, having a real job, is every day you're going to work and looking at your coworkers as if, oh, am I better than them? Am I doing just a little bit more than they are so that I can be the person that gets the next raise instead of them? And there's all these deadlines, and sometimes you feel like you are just in this cycle of having to get stuff done because it's your job. Whereas whenever I would go to work as a service member for Americorps, it was, today I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to do it with my teammates. I was excited to wake up every day because I could see the fruits of my labor, and I wasn't answering to just some big man in the sky, whoever the CEO is, whoever your boss might be. I was answering to the community and the homeowner that I was working with, or the school where we were planting the trees. And the same can be said for most AmeriCorps programs. I mean, coming out of college, I have a job now, it's a full-time job, but I still don't walk out of work every day feeling as accomplished as I did when I was serving. And don't get me wrong, there are tangible benefits to being an AmeriCorps service member. You do get paid, you do get that stipend. Also get an education award, which has been helping me pay off my loans ever since I got done with AmeriCorps. Basically, they'll give you this lump sum of money and you can pay off your loans with it after you're done with your service. I think there are just so many life lessons that I learned during my time as an AmeriCorps service member, but there were also so many people that I met. When you go to do service, you're basically meeting up with a bunch of people just like yourself, a lot of people who are interested in bettering their community as opposed to just themselves. So I've made some lifelong friends because of AmeriCorps and some people who really get me and share my values. And that is something that you can come across in your everyday life, but I think that when you're put with a dozen other people who are interested in what you're interested in, it just changes your perspective about how life can be. You know, you realize that there are people out there who are concerned about helping out their communities and helping out other people, and not everyone is only worried about themselves. It's a very refreshing thing to experience. And then not only are those people your lifelong friends, but they're also your lifelong network. Whenever you're looking for a job, maybe you need a reference, you have a solid reference whenever you're going to look for a job because you've worked with your manager or your supervisor or your team lead or whatever it may be. You've worked hand in hand with them, as opposed to if you ask a professor for a letter of recommendation, maybe they don't really know you any better than you made an A in their class. I found that it really helped when I applied for my first job that I had such great recommendations from my previous AmeriCorps manager, because it wasn't just saying, oh yes, I know Shelbi, she was a decent student. He could tell them examples of where I was able to problem solve, or areas where I took that step forward to make sure something went right before it went wrong. And that was very impactful in me getting my current position. I know that for a fact. So because my AmeriCorps experience was so amazing and being a service member brought so much to my life, I really want to encourage you guys to try to do a service year sometime as well. And it's not just AmeriCorps. There are service years for all sorts of different niches, all sorts of different experiences. There are education experiences. There are obviously the environmental experiences like what I did. There are health experiences. And there is one website that I know can really help you guys find the perfect opportunity for you, and that's going to be serviceyear.org. Serviceyear.org actually has over 35,000 opportunities for you guys to choose from, and they make it really easy to find exactly what you're looking for. If you're looking to start sometime in June and you want it to be about the environment and you want to serve for a year and you want to do it in California, they have a search engine that can find you exactly what you're looking for. All you have to do is go to serviceyear.org, fill out the information to set up your profile, what your interests are and what your demographics are. So after your account is set up, you can just go right here to the top and you'll click find opportunities, and right there in the location you can type where you want it to be. So if you want to stay in your state, type in your state. If there's a state you really want to serve in and you've been wanting to go experience, click that state. You can also just search in general all over the country if you're willing to go anywhere. You could do that as well. Then I'll scroll down to environment because you guys know that's what I'm interested in. Then you can also select your level of education because some different programs require different people to be at different levels depending on what the service is. So since I'm a college graduate, we'll go ahead and pick that. You can see that that added to my filters. And then that's all that I want to select. But feel free to use any of these tools right here on the left to help you find exactly what you need. So we'll look at the opportunities, and there's quite a few of them here. You can see there's some in LA, San Diego. This is a Notre Dame AmeriCorps program. And there's Public Allies in LA, Urban Forestry and Community Outreach Specialist at our city forest. So you can choose from any of these and you can just go into apply. So we'll click this one here, and it looks like they have 40 openings, and you can just read through all of these opportunities, see if there's something you'd be interested in, see if it's something you would want to give your time to, and then you can just go up here and click I'm interested, and that's how you go through the application process to get started. Serviceyear.org makes it really, really easy for you guys to find exactly what you're looking for so that you can feel comfortable giving your time to an organization that is going to benefit both yourself, the community, and the organization. So I definitely encourage you guys to go check out serviceyear.org, see if there are any opportunities that you want to take advantage of, and so you can reap all of the benefits that come along with serving, not only from the financial aspect of getting the education award, but also just making lifelong connections and having a really, really enriching experience. And I can say that I definitely know that my service gave me the foot up on my competition when I went in to get my current job. So I hope you guys go check this out. Thank you so much to serviceyear.org for sponsoring this video. Let me know if this is something you guys would be interested in the comments below, or if you've ever done anything similar like this. And I think that's it. Remember, until next time, create the peace.